Coalfield Development Corporation is a bold and innovative nonprofit operating throughout southern West Virginia. We have 3 core capabilities: invest in and grow employment-based social enterprises, use these new enterprises to reemploy people and support their personal, professional, and academic development, and the third is community-based real estate development. 2020 is Coalfield Development's 10-year anniversary, a full decade of rebuilding the Appalachian economy from the ground up. We have been the catalyst of true transformations for people in southern West Virginia, and we have empowered places to transform too. Since 2010, we have created over 250 new jobs, trained over 1,200 people, leveraged over $20 million in new investment to the region, and revitalized over 200,000 square feet of formerly dilapidated property. Thank you for your support and for believing in our vision to unlock Appalachia's full potential, power, and purpose.
Good afternoon. Welcome. We are really excited that you're here to participate with us as we celebrate our 10-year anniversary at Coalfield Development. This is an exciting time. We are grateful that you're here to be a part of it. We want to welcome you to the West Edge here in the Westmoreland community of Huntington, West Virginia, where we are coming to you live via Zoom, and that is a brand new thing for our organization. So as folks may still be coming into the meeting, please mute your video and your audio and enjoy this time with us. We've got a pretty full program, a lot of messages of congratulations, as well as some live performances, so we're excited for that. And since we are here at the West Edge in Appalachia of the places where we know there are trains, if you hear a train, or if maybe you don't hear it, but I'll hear it first, we've got a screen that we will pause briefly, and you can just sit there and wait for us. We don't want the audio to be too loud for you. So if that happens, you know a train came by. So thanks again for your flexibility on being here with us. We would love to have had a large event, right, to celebrate 10 years. And we were kind of disappointed at first, thinking we're not going to be able to celebrate in person. We really want to bring people from every county that we serve, from Wayne County, from Mingo County, from Lincoln County, West Virginia, McDowell County, Cabell County, and now even partners in southwestern Virginia. And we're unable to do that. And that's okay, because really we're able to reach today a whole lot more people than we know we could have had here. So we're grateful for you to be here, and we're excited for this time. And we do have some words of welcome from some of our team members. So there's a video that we're going to show from some of our folks around our coverage area.
Hi, I'm Sam Sarcone from Huntington, West Virginia.
I'm Amanda Jones, and I'm from Maplewood, West Virginia.
My name is Jim Caldwell from Worthington, Kentucky.
This is Amanda Whitlock from Huntington, West Virginia.
I'm Brad Stapleton from Worthington, Kentucky.
I'm Cindy Manning, and I'm from Charleston, West Virginia.
Howdy, I'm Jacob Hanna from Kellogg, West Virginia.
I'm Joe Melcher, and I'm from Huntington, West Virginia.
Hi, I'm Stephen Schrock from Morgantown, West Virginia.
I'm Yang Zhang from Shanghai, China.
I'm Tyler Fetty from Morgantown, West Virginia.
Hi, my name is Leisha Watts, and I am from Huntington, West Virginia.
My name is Charles from Malawi, South Africa.
Hello, my name is Cindy Basin. I come from Dalian, China.
I'm Alex Monday from Charleston, West Virginia.
I'm Jaron Akers from Pritchard, West Virginia.
My name is Heather Tincher, and I'm from Huntington, West Virginia.
My name is Leslie Norris, and I'm from Morgantown, West Virginia.
Thanks, everybody, for welcoming us from wherever you are today. So we appreciate you coming and introducing yourselves. That was a cool opportunity to be able to still have some of our team members from our coverage area here with us, even if it was digitally. Now, I also have a message of welcome from our board of directors. With me today is Mr. Larry Castle. Larry is our board chair for Coalfield Development. Larry, how are you doing today?
Great, Brian. It's good to be here, and it's good to welcome everyone on behalf of the Coalfield Board and Coalfield Development to our 10th anniversary celebration.
So, Larry, could you have imagined 10 years ago that you and I would be here today?
No, I couldn't have. You know, 10 years ago when Brandon came to the Housing Authority, I was a member of the Housing Authority, and he worked for us for a couple of months, and he said, hey, I want to start a nonprofit. You know, people were looking around, they were saying, you know, hey, this kid just got out of college, he's got a permanent job, and what's he thinking? And he's definitely going to be the executive director of the Housing Authority in just a few short months, and everybody knew that. But he was, because of his determination, his ideas, and following through with everything that he had wanted to do. This is where we're at today. I recently retired when that happened, and it's been a ride. It's been a tremendous ride to be a part from the beginning of Coalfield Development.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I know since you were here from the beginning, there's probably a few folks that we're going to introduce in a moment that you can remember. So we've got a video here from a dialogue that Brandon had recently with the very first crew. So we're going to take it back 10 years, and we're going to meet Larry Endicott, one of the first crew chiefs, Chase Thomas, someone else, a lifelong friend of Brandon's who had helped start the organization, and one of our first crew members who was our first Coalfield champion, so making it all the way through the 33-6-3 program. So thank you for your welcome, and please enjoy this video.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you for joining us. We have here the original Coalfield Development work crew. So Coalfield was started in 2010. It took us 2 years to raise enough money to really move into action. And in the spring of 2012, my best friend from high school, Chase Thomas, came on board, and we started recruiting for the first crew. And we have with us today our first ever Coalfield champion, Josh Napper, and our first Coalfield crew chief, who's Larry Endicott, who we call Doodah, and our founding Coalfield crew chief, who became the chief operations officer, Chase Thomas. So let's go back to orientation. That was spring of 2012. I think it was March or April.
March 15th, to be exact.
There, you would know. So Josh, tell me about that day. I'll briefly say from my perspective, I was actually upset because you were late, and it wasn't. I felt like we were not getting off to a good start. But in fact, you had a really good reason for being late.
Yeah. So I was hired. Start date was March 15th, 2012. I woke up late that morning. I called Brandon. I was like, well, I tried to call him. He hadn't answered his phone. So I got there, and I was like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes late. And Brandon's like, hey, man, this is not really a good start. And I was like, man, that's not my fault. It's like, listen, I was expecting a child, but I wasn't expecting her this day. So my daughter was born 14 weeks early on March 15th of 2012. She was born at 1:55 in the morning. And so I was up all night preparing for a child and a new job.
And then my tone changed, and I was like,
completely.
Wow, what are you doing here? You should be at the hospital.
Yeah, literally, I got this big lecture about why I shouldn't be there, why, I can go on about orientation another day, that I need to get back to the hospital with my child. And I just decided to work things around everything. So I stayed and worked out the day and the rest of the week. And from then on,
you went on to become the first champion. I'll never forget when I was like, well, what are you doing here? You should be at the hospital. And you said, I just really need this opportunity. And you were determined to make the most of it. So tell us a little bit about, your life before you came to Coalfield Development.
Well, before Coalfield, I graduated high school. I hadn't really had any steady job. I was carpentry major in high school, and it's hard to find work. I went and applied for coal mines, got my underground mining certification. The mines started shutting down, couldn't find anything. So I was working fast food jobs, trying to make ends meet, found out I had a kid on the way, and just tried my best to find something that was steady, something that I could make a career out of, something that I could take with me and learn from. And I was taken away from my parents twice as a kid because of drugs. I lived in several different homes. I wanted to be better for my family than my family was for me. So I worked from there to do that.
Chase, when you think about orientation, how do you remember that day?
I remember it real similar. I mean, the quote that we keep talking about sticks in my mind about how, Josh showed up late and you were out of breath. And after, we found out that your child was being born that night, that, both Brandon and I just flipped to say, hey, we're going to extend the grace that these are the things that you can take care of, even though it's day one and it hit us right there. But that you just said, I really need this opportunity. There wasn't going to be anything that, was going to stand in the way for you to continue in with what you thought was a great opportunity. So
Chase, our first job, we had this idea for Wayne County had a lot of empty buildings. Population had declined, more buildings than there were people to live in them. And the buildings were an eyesore. They attracted, crime, drugs, sometimes even things like prostitution. So a lot of people wanted to get rid of the these buildings, but it's actually pretty expensive to do. And our idea was, well, we think there's valuable material in these buildings that can be resold, reused, recycled through a deconstruction program. So our first project was in the Spring Valley part of Wayne County to tear these buildings down, but not to do it with heavy equipment and waste it all in a landfill, but to really do it surgically and save what we could and try and generate some revenue. So pick up from there. We were using your personal truck, and we had quite a few hiccups on that first project. We learned a lot of things the hard way.
I think what we did is we had my truck. We had just recently bought a trailer because we realized we're going to have to haul off a lot of these materials. So we had truck and trailer hooked up, and we planned on storing the materials in the Erlings building, which was just a shell of a building at that time. So it was just being used as a storage facility. So anyway, like we showed up to these 14 houses and basically just picked the first one where the keys worked. And so we walked in this house, and it wasn't quite up to the standards of the ones that we looked at with Q. So I just kind of like shrugged my shoulders a little bit. I was like, all right, guys, well, Q wanted us to get like door trim and doors, so let's get the door trim and doors and get the baseboard. So then these three guys just start hacking away at all this stuff. I mean, there was drywall everywhere. As a young guy, I mean, deconstruction is like, that's the fun part of it, is just
really take a lot of aggression out.
Right, just ripping everything apart. So
Josh did always love a challenge, and never turned one down, pretty much, if I remember correctly. Again,
you are correct.
And so I think you were trying to demolish drywall with your forehead. Tell us how that went.
Pretty good to hit the stud.
Straight into a stud. So then we took on a deconstruction job in a couple counties over in the town of Durbin. And Larry, this is where you entered the scene. And we needed some help. We since it was out of town, we wanted to reduce our travel costs, our lodging costs. We just wanted to go get the job done, get in, get out, reclaim as much as we could. So, Larry, tell us a little bit about your life before Coalfield Development.
I was a diesel mechanic for a long time. I'd gotten hurt.
Working on coal trucks mostly?
Yeah, in Coalfield. I as far as my calling was to be a mechanic of some kind. I was sitting at the house when Andy come and told me, Dad, Brandon wanted you to come and work with us. So that's when we went to Durbin.
You know, as we started to grow, we were thinking that, well, you know, really construction and deconstruction they're related, but they're two different things. So we were thinking about spinning off the deconstruction to be its own enterprise. And you came up with this term, Reclaim Appalachia, at sort of a brainstorming session. Do you remember sort of there's a lot of meaning behind that term for you?
Yes, I think I remember the meaning. I definitely remember the meaning more than I do the discussion, because what that really meant to me when we were, we were heavily into deconstruction, and we were dealing with these buyers and talking about the different uses that they had for the materials, and really started to talk to some of the community members that would come to us on these projects and mention how, oh, that's great. You know, we used to do that all the time. Mm-hmm. So it started to just be reminded that it's a foreign concept to be so wasteful. I mean, especially with materials that are perfectly capable of being used in their current form. I mean, in the salvage world, it's just 100% salvageable to be reused in its current form. So that just got me to think about, you know, what the term is, and that it's this is an Appalachian staple, that we're around all these Appalachian folks that would speak to how they used to do things like that, or my grandfather did things like that. So that just what led me to say that we want to reclaim that, reclaim the Appalachian way of life.
Love it. So, Josh, to your experience as a crew member, what was the hardest part?
Leaving.
I can see that.
I have
a family, and it was hard to depart from it.
I have a couple moments in mind. We did become a family, and you know, you were working through a lot as a young man, figuring out what you wanted out of life, figuring out who you wanted to be. Sometimes you had some frustration, some anger management issues, the psychologists might call them. And I think one of the best instances of mentorship that I've ever seen during the Erlings renovation project, which was a big, stressful, high-stakes construction project, Duda, early in the morning before work, you'd had a very frustrated day the day before, and he left something on your front porch for you to take your aggression. Do you remember this?
Yeah. Remember it very clearly.
Take it from there.
It was a boxing bag. So, I don't know, just hitting things in general helped relieve stress. So he brought me a boxing bag one morning, left it on my porch. I used
Didn't say a word. There's no conversation about it, but
No, I used it for 2 years.
just a tangible sign that he cared. When I think about your graduation, you know, everything we'd been through, and we were all there. We're at Mount West Community Technical College. You earned your associate's degree, I believe, with a 4.0.
Very, very high honors.
GPA. Very, very high honors.
At May 9th of 2014.
When I think about you walking across that stage, I just get chills. And I want to hear how you remember that, but I know your daughter was there.
She was.
Kylie was there. And I feel like the generational ramifications of what we do, that our actions today affect future, not just ourselves and not just people around us today, but future generations. And the courage that it took for you to overcome everything it took to overcome, to walk across that stage, I get chills still to this day. You said you remember the date.
I do. I remember the date. It was May 9th, 2014. The last day I worked for Coalfield.
And then we said, all right, you got to go start your career now.
Yeah.
You gotta,
No, I mean, it's different. I was the first person out of my family, my mom, my dad, my grandparents, to go to college, to get a higher education. And Coalfield really gave me that opportunity to be able to do that because, I mean, with a new family, it's hard to do. And as of now, my family has grown from one child to 3 stepchildren and 2 biological children.
big happy family.
Yeah, 8, 7, 7, 4, and 8 months old. 4 girls and 1 boy.
A good job you're able to provide.
Yeah. I work at currently work at Western Regional Jail. I'm a correctional officer. I've been there for 2 years.
You know how proud I am of you. You know that I love you. It's good to see you. And I'll just look forward to staying in touch and seeing your family grow and prosper. And it's so fun to have you come back. I'll let Larry go, and then Chase can close us out here just with closing thoughts.
Thank you for the opportunity to be in here. I've enjoyed it. All of us been back together. How long has it been since we've been able to get together and talk?
Too long.
You know, it's been a long time, but bring back a lot of old memories. We could sit here and talk all night, I'm sure. But I'm very proud of Josh. Very remarkable 10 years, you know. To look back on it, you think of some things you wish you'd have changed and went to the better, but look at where we come from. And, you know, I'm just sitting here when we was talking about him graduating. How many of them, if I graduated out, you know, I don't know how many of them have been.
Yeah, we've now created 2.
You know,
we're pushing 300 new jobs
well,
created
that's what
total.
I'm saying. You know, they've been a lot of kids that I know that we, as a crew, have helped out in the 10 years that I've been here. Not 10 yet, but it will be. You know, and it's just nice to be able to sit back and know that you had a part of that. You know,
reminiscing about all these stories has just been a lot of fun, and I think I'm reminded of something that isn't in the front of my memory now, but just things flood back, and it just paints a picture of some of the awesome and scary. And I think, you know, for what we're doing now, just thinking about the early years of Coalfield, like, you know, when you graduated, I think that was the first time that I think Brandon, like, kind of took this collective breath to say, like, you know, this, you're right, like, this is gonna work. Yeah. You know, this is we got to see real tangible long-term evidence of what we were working really hard every day to make happen. And So yeah, just what a proud moment to be able to share with you and your graduation and see your family there. And I love all the times that we had together and working together. And then dude, I think the world of you, man. So like your work ethic is just, it's second to none. So, I mean, you really can do it all. You come up with some of the most innovative strategies and fixes that I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I
So
still do it today.
I don't doubt it one bit, dude. I mean, when I have problems at my house, I feel like calling you because, like, you know, professionals. Anyway,
We
I
really
appreciate you
could.
being
We could go all night and into the next, I think. But thank you all for listening. And you can learn more at coalfield-development.org.
That was a great video. It was a great opportunity to get to really sit down and hear what things were like early on as Coalfield was getting started. You know, our roots are in construction, and our work's evolved over time, but that was really special to hear the stories of how people got along, how they interacted, what some of the challenges were. So special thanks to Larry and Chase and Josh and Brandon for sharing that with us and for just having a great time of memories and sharing that we could all be a part of. So another special element this afternoon that we want to share, we've received some videos of congratulations from members of our congressional delegation for the state of West Virginia. So our first video comes to us from Senator Shelley Moore Capito.
I'd like to offer my heartfelt congratulations for 10 years of success at the Coalfield Development Corporation. I've had the honor and privilege of meeting students who have been working to improve themselves and get an education and get a skill through Coalfield Development. I've visited their facilities and seen it grow and get cleaned out and spruced up. Certainly, congratulations to their CEO, Brandon Dennison, who is an innovator, who has a great vision for not just how he wants to help people, but how he wants to help the state at the same time. And so I think Coalfield is a great example to the students and the graduates of hope for the future, of bright opportunities, and I look forward to many more years of success at Coalfield.
Thank you, Senator Capito. We appreciate your words of congratulation. We also appreciate your service. And another element that we have today that we want to share, we've got other messages from our leaders that we'll share in a moment. But first, I want to have the opportunity to share something very special. It's live music from our conservation coordinator. His name is Jacob Hanna. He has written his own song inspired by life in Appalachia titled Lost Generation. Jacob?
I'm the orphan Appalachian, teething on the rust, playing hopscotch on the ashes of kingdoms long past. I was born in their shadows, their atmospheres. My inheritance is the echoes of yesteryears. I'm a number to the figures, portraying the lost. We can't measure or remember that feeling you got when the void was a vacuum. How it pulls you in, demanding your honor for its weight in sin. At the end of my rope, when you can't find a hope, there's a shift in the wind, there's a change blowing in. I believe it, I receive it, I can sense it all around. The mountains are sane, but something has changed. What used to feel lonely now is extolling. I believe it, I receive it, I need it. So hold me, mountain true, and I'll return it back to you. lost generation. No nation, no people, no hope in ourselves, a last generation. Hear me howl for a new revelation. Without a vision, my people will die, a lost generation. Hear me cry for a lost generation. With no nation, no people, no hope in ourselves, a last generation. Hear me cry for a new revelation. Without a vision, my people will die, lost generation. Hear me cry. So scream loud, Montani semper liberi, and know now the mountaineer is always free, and be proud of all we can and cannot be, and see how you'll make yourself begin to believe again.
Thank you, Jacob. That was inspiring. We really appreciate your reminder that Mountaineers are always free. So thank you for sharing your heart and your music with us today. Our next video congrats comes from Congresswoman Carol Miller.
Brandon, congratulations on 10 years of hard work with the Coalfield Development Corporation. You've started little, you have grown, you have made such a big difference in Southern West Virginia, and I look forward to what all you can accomplish in the next 10 years. Godspeed.
Congresswoman Miller, we appreciate your words of congratulations as well. And we also have another live performance ready. This is Mr. Sam Sarcone. He is our Chief Financial Officer, and he is also a local hip-hop artist. So a little known fact about Sam, and we appreciate him coming and sharing his talent and his original work with us today. He has a song entitled The Call.
Now for something completely different. Ladies and gentlemen, gather round. Come on and knowledge, just move it to the sound. If you hurting a burden mind, you can come and lay it down. Present your presence to the present, they're here and now. I know you've heard the voices and nudges of intuition. Your spirit's made a judgment, it has a lack of nutrition. Deep down beneath the surface, you know what you gotta do. You've been hit against the wall and now it's time to break through. You have support and love from your higher self and the one. The moon, stars, the constants, this planet orbit the sun. Our shadows ominous, monstrous. They almost got to us. Party rhythms, we're drumming so fast, I'm like an octopus. Here's a concept to live it will blow your mind. People planning and profit, we triple the bottom line. Community unified from the crown, we manifest. Funky with the sound of boogie down, we do it best. We saw an opportunity when others saw a mess. Appalachians, we do it for real, this is not a test. Make it happen, we know how to deal and we do it best. Back strong as the mountains for the weight we press. We work the hardest, going the farthest, that's why we're blessed. Never give it up, we live it up, obsessed. We do favors, we are the greatest of neighbors, I do a test. But I digress, some of us get stressed, we need rest. We turn addiction to fiction, that's how we fix it. A rat's longer than the line outside of the soup kitchen. We got the power, it's about time to do with it. We learn from our mistakes, so great, that's how we break limits. We here to be the change in the world and break the style. Wild, wonderful, get our hands dirty, we do it all. Ready to fight if we got it, to jump in the brawl. And when we hear the call, we answer the call. When we hear the call, we answer the call. When we hear the call, we answer the call. Appalachians make it happen, we doing it all. Cause when we hear the call, we answer the call. Because we better than a test, a post to a tweet. Raise a toast, move your feet to the dopest of beats. Let the whole world see you wild, wonderful, free. Damn, it feels good to be in West V. Dressed to the nines and the test of the times. It can mess with your mind. We address the divine. We the best that you find. We the light that will shine. We the path. We the sign. We the strong, never resign. We the angels, the gods. We the moon. We the stars. We the moon. We the gods. The black holes, rhythm, rap flows, blowing these ill bars. Nobody's in charge. All of us living we are, hustling, struggling hard. Infinite beings and they didn't created hope, and then they didn't inculcated by humans seeking control. I'm sedated but feel the light of my soul. Fan the fire till the blaze is illuminated and full till none of us cold. I'm trying to find some real people to connect with. Tired of sitting on the couch and watching Netflix. Respect connected to all. Find grace in the fall. When you hear the call, answer the call. When we hear the call, we answer the call. When we hear the call, we answer the call. Appalachians make it happen, we doing it all. Cause when we hear the call, we answer the call. Cause we better than a text, a post, or a tweet. Raise a toast, move your feet to the dopest of beats. Let the whole world see you wild, wonderful, free. Damn, it feels good to be in West V. If you Appalachian, let's make it happen. 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 Open it with your eyes, show that you are alive. Open the wings to the sky, show the heavens alive. Mighty yellow than the sky, shouldn't be dropping these rhymes. This is the test of the times, tell me your truth and the lie. Cause we do it or die, bleeding sweat, but never we cry. Even the intricate, it's make it in a minute to minute, I'm rebel. They're going to get tough and I'm still with the work of the day and I can step run up and I do what they do to me, everyone gotta see to the thinking this unity, need to the past. Present odyssey, here we calamities, cause of a tragedy. Nothing of living, authority, releasing control, we live in the moment. Meditate, medicate, levitate, set a straight, doing myself and working to own it. Denial, letting go, oppression, bargain, and acceptance, open ears. Don't listen too fast, then you get the message. For all of us, there's love and acceptance, let's make it happen. How we do it, that's why we're so cool up in Appalachia. Working certain, but nothing is perfect, but build it tall. When you hear the call, answer the call. When we hear the call, we answer the call. When we hear the call, we answer the call. Appalachians make it happen, we doing it all. Cause when we hear the call, we answer the call. Representing West Virginia, this is for all of my sinners, and none of us is beginners. Winner, chicken dinner. Get it, we started, we finish, you cannot stop us. The word I holla at you, say Appalachia is awesome. When we hear the call, we answer the call. When we hear the call, we answer the call. Appalachians make it happen, we doing it all. Cause when we hear the call, we answer the call. Cause we better than a text, a post, or a tweet. Raise a toast, move your feet to the dopest of beats. Let the whole world see you wild, wonderful, free. Damn, it feels good to be in West V. Damn, it feels good to be in West V. And West Edge. Damn, it feels good to be in West V. 10 years, y'all. Good times.
Thanks, Sam. So as I was off to the side, I'm getting text messages, and I noticed the chat was blowing up in the Zoom room like, wow, Ryan has to follow Sam. So thank you for leaving such a fantastic performance for me to come back and just chit-chat about. So thank you for your inspiring words, though. We appreciate that. So all the talent here in the organization. So we are reminding ourselves maybe right now, Marilyn, we should start that band we always talked about. Like, it is time, again, to remind ourselves we should start a band. Anyway, thank you guys for participating in that. And we have one final video, congratulations, from Senator Joe Manchin.
Hello, I'm Senator Joe Manchin. It is an honor to join you in celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Coalfield Development Corporation. West Virginians are the most hardworking, patriotic people in the nation, and organizations like the Coalfield Development Corporation showcase those values every day. The Coalfield Development Corporation has done incredible work in southern West Virginia, boosting our state, the economy, and supporting workforce development programs across the region. In the last 10 years, Coalfields has helped create 250 new jobs, provide workforce training to more than 1,000 individuals, and leverage $20 million in investment. Our state needs more organizations like Coalfields that give back by helping West Virginians contribute to their communities and invest in local economies, in turn, growing and strengthening this beautiful region of our state. Congratulations to Brandon and the entire Coalfields team on a solid decade of excellence in the Mountain State. I know your work is not done, and I look forward to seeing all that you are certain to accomplish in the next decade to come. Thank each and every one of you, and God bless you.
So at Coalfield Development, our vision statement is Appalachian people and places unlocking their full potential power, and purpose. So this happens to be the fourth Friday of the month, and that's the day each month where we gather for Coalfield Council Day. It's the one day of the month where all of us from all the different enterprises and programs and teams come together and we plan, we get motivated and inspired together, and we learn together. So this is a particularly special Coalfield Council Day, and an activity that we do for Council Days to remember our vision statement, we do with our hands. So I want to invite everyone watching, if you could, put your hands up along with me. So let's see both your hands. And so take your hands and place them to your head, because this is where your potential lives. And our potential is unique to each of us. It's made up of our personality, our interests, our backgrounds, a little bit of luck, a little bit of hard work, our passions, what gets us excited. All of that mixes together to make up our potential. And it lives here between our ears, where we have the most powerful tool at our disposal. So here at Coalfield, we have construction, which uses heavy equipment, and we have our tool belts, and we have agriculture, which uses farm equipment, and we do some manufacturing and some woodworking. But more powerful than all of that tools and all of those pieces of tools and equipment that you would use on the job is the tool between your ears, and that's really where your potential lives. Now take your hands and put them to your heart, because this is where your power lives. And so our power is what keeps us going. It's what actually gets us towards that potential, so that we can't just say we have potential, but we can actually realize our potential. It's our power is on the hard days. It's what makes us just get up and just keep going and never give up. And it's personal to all of us. And I can't tell you what your personal power is, but I want Coalfield to be a place where you can figure that out. And now I just want you to hold your hands in front of you and just look at your hands, because this is really where your purpose lives. So yes, we want to get jobs. We want to be trained for those jobs. We want to start new businesses here in Appalachia. But it's not just about the numbers. It's not just about having a job. It's really about finding our purpose and living with passion and caring for ourselves, but also caring for others, and embracing the role of citizen and embracing the role of leadership, and taking the potential in our minds and the power in our hearts and putting that to work for good and putting that to use for the world. And we would never tell a person what their purpose is, but we want to push you and stretch you and ask you the hard questions and create a space here at Coalfield Development so you can figure out what your purpose is for yourself. So thank you for joining us on this very special day, and please be reflecting today on your potential, your power, and your purpose. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce our Chief Development Officer, Marilyn Wren. I've worked with Marilyn for a lot of years. Talk about passion, talk about commitment. That's Marilyn Wren, and Marilyn will pass to you.
Thanks, Brandon. Coalfield has come a long way and has touched many, many lives. Throughout this celebration, we've heard about the results of our strategies, and the results that we've had to date are significant. We have 1,200 people have been trained in new economic sectors. Over 50 new businesses have been supported and have grown. 250 new jobs have been created. And more than 200,000 square feet of abandoned and dilapidated properties have been revitalized. Looking at these impacts, last year we began talking about our approach and how our work falls into 3 core capabilities. The first is incubating and investing in employment-based social enterprises. The second capability is our work in personal, professional, and academic development. And our third capability is engaging in community-based real estate revitalization projects. In just a minute, we will hear more about our revitalization work from Claudette Carr and the impact of our personal, professional, and academic development from Kelly Crabtree. But I want to say a little bit more about our social enterprise work. Social enterprises run with the business savvy of the for-profit sector and the heart of the nonprofit sector. By incubating and investing in employment-based social enterprises, we are creating the vehicles through which people are hired as crew members, as trainees, and this gives them not only work experience and a paycheck, but access to the personal and academic development programming that deeply transforms lives. And by working with and supporting other social entrepreneurs throughout West Virginia and the region, more and more opportunities for meaningful employment are being created. Not only do our social enterprises earn revenue so our future work can be sustained, but we are also generating positive social returns and environmental returns as well. This triple bottom line approach makes a lot of sense in this work to rebuild our communities and is one we're proud to embrace. So let's hear from Claude Carr, Director of Revitalize Appalachia. She's going to tell us more about our community-based real estate projects.
Hi there, my name's Claude Carr. I'm the Director of Revitalize Appalachia, and I'd like to take you on a trip down memory lane. In 2015, Revitalize was able to open the Earlings General Store in Wayne, West Virginia, and it now houses 5 affordable rental units, coffee shop, offices for the Housing Authority of Wayne County and the Family Resource Network. In 2016, 12 Pole Valley Apartments went through a rehab, and they now are enjoying new flooring, energy efficient appliances, windows, exterior doors, and HVAC units. In 2017, Revitalize was able to build a brand new, beautiful 3-bedroom timber frame home in Mingo County on abandoned mine lands, which are now used as tourist destination because of the close proximity to a trailhead for the Hatfield-McCoy trails. In August of 2018, the brand new 8-unit 12 Pole Valley Apartments Building C in Huntington opened with ADA accessibility, roll-in showers, energy-efficient appliances, exterior windows, and beautiful doors, and was rented within 60 days of opening. Beginning in the spring of 2019, Revitalize not only rehabbed the courtyard apartments, they also were able to build a brand new 3-bedroom single-family home in Huntington, West Virginia. As of the fall of 2019, the Revitalize crews began the renovation of the Victorville apartments and will later this year finish that renovation with affordable units that are not only energy efficient but has renovated a total eyesore to the community to the point where the town of Hamlin is abuzz at the changes that have already been made. Scheduled for spring 2020 startup will be the renovation of the old Fort Gay High School. We look forward to being able to not only have community space available, commercial space, also town offices for Fort Gay, the water department, and 8 affordable rental units. In the Revitalize pipeline, we have the William and Mary Queen General Store in Crum, a health and wellness center along with cabins to boost tourist economy in Mingo County. Grown from a team of 3 to a group of 17 that makes all this possible, where we can do on-the-job training, mentorship, and help reestablish a lot of these abandoned and dilapidated buildings in southern West Virginia has been a blessing to the state and also to my life. So I thank Coalfield and everyone that's made it possible.
These projects are transformative for so many communities, and it all starts with people. Kelly Crabtree, our Director of Personal Development, had a chance to talk with some of our current and graduate crew members and trainees. Let's listen.
Hi, I'm Kelly Crabtree. I'm the Director of Personal and Academic Development. I'm with you all today to tell you a little bit about personal, academic, and professional development. It's one of our core capabilities. But the best way that I can really explain it is by introducing you to some of our trainees, crew members, and former crew members. Just hearing from them will provide you with the impact that Coalfield has on people and why we exist. So I'm going to first start with Pat Bradshaw. Pat, if you could tell us, you can take off your mask and you can tell us your name, what enterprise you work for, and how long you've been with Coalfield. And then just let us know a little bit about what your experience has been like with Coalfield.
Patrick Bradshaw. I work for Refresh Appalachia, the Wayne County and the West Edge building. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing opportunity. I mean, starting that. I was struggling in my own right, struggling with my life, and I didn't know what I was going to do 4 years ago. And now, since then, I've worked my way completely through the program, and now crew chief of the Wayne County Refresh Appalachia. So it's been excellent.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so Pat is one of our Coalfield champs. So tell us what does that mean to be a Coalfield champion, Pat? What does that entail? Tell the audience that.
That means to complete the process, to go through the 33-6-3 program, all the schooling, all the certifications that I could possibly get while I was a crew member, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Pat. So Ty, tell us your name, where you're from, how long you've been working with Coalfield, and what kind of impact or your experience with Coalfield so far.
Well, hi, my name is Tyrone Sean Ferguson, and I live in McDowell County, West Virginia, and I work on TNT Organics Farms through Edge with Coalfield Development. And my experience in this first 6 months has been amazing. Coalfield Development has put me in a position to where I can win in life, and it's just been fantastic, man. Like, I didn't see myself doing what I'm doing now and putting all the pieces together to form business plans and stuff like that. I never would have thought that I was capable of doing something like that, and you guys really opened up the door, and I really do appreciate it.
I'm Taylor Jackson. I live in Bluefield, West Virginia. I work with Edge with the McDowell County Farms and TNT Organics. I've been working here for about 6 months. My experience with Coalfield has been really great. Just the individuals and businesses that I've been able to meet and get in connection with through Coalfield, they've taught me so much just with work experiences and training from them. And none of that would have been possible without Coalfield. I wouldn't have been able to meet any of the people or any of these other organizations that we work with.
My name is Dale Oaks. I work with McDowell County Farms and Edge. My experience so far has been great. I've been able to get connected to some different opportunities. You know, it's a blessing for me. Coming where I come from, I would never be put in a situation to own my own business, let alone connect and communicate with different organizations as well. Same touching on what Taylor and Ty said. I'm very humble and blessed that I'm in this position.
I'm Jaron Akers. I work with Saul's Edge Wood Shop, and my experience with Coalfield has been great. I mean, you know, I was struggling, having trouble finding somebody that would hire me, give me a chance. Glad they did. You know, I'm going to school for electrician, so it's just been awesome.
My name's Amanda Whitlock. I work for Saul's Edge Wood Shop. I've learned a whole lot in that little amount of time. I feel like I have passion, a new skill, and I've been treated very well by everyone that I've worked with. Everyone's been very understanding of obstacles that go on in my life, especially with my son. Everyone's willing to help and figure out what we can do to all work together, and I'm very excited about the opportunities for education and advancement.
So tell us a little bit about how your life circumstances, how they're different now than maybe you thought they would be, or how they're different now than what they were.
When I started here, I really didn't know where I was going to be sleeping from night to night. I'm a recovering addict and been in and out of homelessness, and to see where I am now, I mean, at that point in time, I just wanted to be able to have a place to lay my head at night, be able to pay my bills on time. And now to be put on salary and actually have a life, it's changed mine.
It helped out a lot financially with me because I was in a tight spot. I mean, coming out of prison, not really having anything to look forward to. I didn't see this coming and I didn't see it happening, but like I'm happy that it did, because like now I got my own spot out in Tazewell, so like everything is falling in place for me right now, and I just want to continue to do so.
My life is different now, just in the aspect that we are realistically about to open our own businesses. Me personally, I didn't know where to start or where to begin. I needed guidance and resources, and that was something that Coalfield provided. And without all of that, I would still be trying to figure out where to start.
My life is different because A very couple of things. I'm gonna try to keep it, simple, but on how I talk, like I didn't know how to talk business. I know how to talk like professionalism. I didn't know how to do none of that. All I knew how to just I guess ghetto, but now I'm changing the whole type of dialogue and talk to different many people instead of one genre of people.
My life is different now than it was before, as in, I'm working. I'm able to support myself and my family, pay bills, the trade school, and, just growing personally, professionally, and academically every day.
My life is different now. Now I have a steady income that I can rely on. I have insurance benefits, I have vacation benefits, education next year, and advancement in my career. I'm really happy about that because before this, that not knowing how it's going to make ends meet, so I'm very grateful for that.
Thank you all for sharing. Those were really some impactful responses, so thank you for that. What's the most important thing that you've learned about yourself?
The most interesting thing that I've learned about myself is that, it's one thing living day to day and not having a clue or not being able to plan ahead or have really any goals, just some hard work and knowing how to do it. I've been able to put together plans and follow through with the plans or have goals and follow through and be able to complete the goals. So
there's a number of things. Well, number one, patience. To know that everybody's not going to have the same view on things and to accept that and to roll with other people's ideas and not just off of your own ideas, and then it'll still work out. So patience and leadership skills. Like, I've never been in a position to where like somebody would come to me and ask me my opinion on something, and for me to interact with them and we come up with the best solution possible for it. I didn't think I had any patience, but obviously I do.
I guess I've learned that I'm more capable than I originally thought before starting here. Some of the projects that we're working on now was something that I never thought that I myself would be a part of. So it definitely helped me realize my potential and just the things that I'm able to do.
This past half year, I've learned a lot, but I have learned that people can't rely on me, like same thing with Ty said, like I thought my voice, my opinion didn't matter, but it does, like all of our opinions come together so we can perform a bigger project, or we might say something, like I might have an idea that somebody else doesn't, and I voice that, oh, boom, okay, I just contribute to that idea. So I feel like I got a lot to agree with Todd, what he said, my voice matters. That has a lot to do with me.
I've learned that it's not my past that defines me, but who I am and what I do now, and that, determines who I am and what in the future.
When I put effort into a project that benefits more than just myself, I feel like I thrive. I can sometimes be fearful of making mistakes. I guess everybody is sometimes, but when I just put my head to it and make mistakes anyway, and then I learn from them, it really pays off.
Thank you all for those. And the last question. So I'd love to hear from each of you about how you think that this experience with Coalfield is going to help you down the road. What impact is this going to make?
Now that I work with the company and I'm not just like a crew member and then finding to work elsewhere, is the way that I want to impact the community that I live in. And I live in the community, I live 2 blocks away from the West Edge building, and grew up here most of my life. And just how I want the city of Huntington even, try to make sure that they can find healthier means lifestyle, just eating their healthy. There's several different ways that I think that are important, that I think that I could impact my community around me.
I feel that the impact that you guys will have with me later on down the road, well, I would like to be where Pat's at. I would like to be mentoring the next group of people that's coming in, like reach one, teach one. Like if I can reach out and show somebody that there's a better way and to help them get on to the next level, like you guys are doing with me, I feel like that'll be a major impact for me to help the people around my community, to uplift them, to bring more to something that's negative.
All the training and work experience we've received is really designed to show us how to thrive in our own communities and what our own communities have to offer. So all of that is something we can really use and take to open our businesses and to make them be successful long term.
I feel like it will, I will have the tools, the mindset, and the education that I need to succeed and provide for myself and my family, as well as hopefully make a positive impact in this great state, West Virginia.
I think Coalfield is going to have an impact on me down the road because I'm going to continue expanding my knowledge and being able to apply the skills that I learned to my everyday life. I think my experience will help me to be a more well-rounded individual, and I'll be able to create my own stability and provide for me and my family.
So I really appreciate all of you spending time with me today and being willing to share your heart, really, and your authenticity with everyone that is joining us for the 10th anniversary. So thanks again, and I'll see y'all later.
We are going to do a live Q&A, and we're thinking, folks, so we're celebrating the first decade. You may be curious to know what the next decade is going to look like, where we're going from here. So we're going to use the chat function for Q&A. That's the easiest way to do it without the background noise and all of that. So start typing your questions in here. While you do that, there are some folks we wanted to be sure to thank. So we're going to put up on screen a lot of our funders. Believe it or not, this is still not all of them, but these are some key folks we wanted to thank. A lot of representatives from these organizations and foundations and government agencies are joining us today. We didn't have time to go through every one of them, although believe me, I really did want to do that. There are a few from way back when that I want to give a shout out to. Certainly Shepherdstown Presbyterian Church, a lot of friends in Shepherdstown helped put in the first few donations to get us off the ground. Mary Reynolds Babcock Foundation, I believe Sandra Mickish is joining us. I actually met my wife through the Mary Reynolds Babcock Foundation. Hello at home to Ashley, Owen, and Will. I love you all. And also to Enterprise Community Partners was one of the first national groups to really buy in and believe in what we were doing. And then the Appalachian Regional Commission has been just a tremendous support in recent years and is currently our largest funder. So just appreciative to all of you, and thank you to so many of you for joining today, actually. And we also have some dignitaries that I wanted to recognize. Again, the digital format didn't lend itself as well to having as many remarks as we would have liked, but I know President Jerome Gilbert of Marshall University has joined us. I know Erica Bogus, who's the head of the West Virginia Housing Development Fund, has joined us. Commissioner Randall Reed Smith of Culture and History here in West Virginia has joined us. And several local representatives, Delegate Lovejoy, Delegate Rohrbach, and Senator Bob Plymel have been able to join us. And I'm probably forgetting some others, and I apologize for that. But we're blessed to have a lot of people at lots of different tiers of society who believe in us, and more than that, are willing to invest money, invest time, invest their belief in us, which matters a lot as well. And on that note, and then we'll get into some Q&As, I do want to direct you to our donation page. So all of this amazing work that you've heard from this incredible team today, it can't happen without money. And so I do want to encourage you to check out our donation page. Your donations mostly go straight to helping crew members and trainees advance their education, advance their personal, professional, and academic development. And those donation dollars mean a lot. We stretch it as far as we can, and we give you our word to be good stewards of each and every penny that you invest in our vision. So I also wanted to acknowledge several former employees that we have with us from throughout the years. It's great to see you all, at least virtually, and it's great to be able to stay in touch. You're a key part of our story. I appreciate each and every one of you, and it's good to see you, and we look forward to staying in touch. And I also want to honor, we're coming up on Labor Day weekend. So Labor Day is Coalfield Development's big holiday. We make a big deal out of it every year. We make a bigger deal out of Labor Day than we do Christmas, because this place is all about working people and taking the potential in our minds and the power in our hearts and the purpose and putting it to work with our hands to literally rebuild the Appalachian economy from the ground up. And so all of the workers who really make society function, we just take their work seriously and we honor them very genuinely. I'm standing in what used to be the Corbin factory building, where at one time there were nearly 1,000 employees who made men's suits. And typically when we're not in a pandemic, every Labor Day we bring the Corbin employees back to this building, and they can reminisce and walk through the building and tell us their stories, and we can help keep those stories alive and honor them and honor all working people in what we do to rebuild the Appalachian economy from the ground up and to make our economy more just and more fair and more equitable, which is absolutely part and parcel of our mission. So thank you all, and thank you to all working people who really make our society function. With that, we have says, what is the project that was most challenging and the one you're most proud of? And we have, this is Sylvia Sherbet at Shepherd University. I am a proud Shepherd grad. I was a history and a political science major in undergrad, and a lot of people ask a history major, what on earth are you going to do with that degree? It's not typically considered one of the more lucrative degrees, but when I started studying at Shepherd, I began to understand why things were the way they were in Appalachia. Growing up here, born and raised, I always knew we could be so much more than what we had been. I knew we had great potential, but it felt like this region was not reaching its potential. And once you start to understand the history and the economics and the politics of this region and really what's held us back, then you can start to understand creative solutions to move forward. So my time at Shepherd was absolutely foundational in shaping my thinking and in shaping the vision for Coalfield development. The hardest project is they've all been very, very difficult, to be totally honest. But I think reflecting on those early days has been really fun, and I had almost forgotten just how hard it was. Most startups don't make it. Most new businesses do fail. And so just the financial struggles and even just the personnel struggles of keeping this thing going until we could really start to get some traction and really start to raise the kind of money we needed to make a big impact. The early days were tough, for sure. Let's see what other questions we have here. Owen asked if I can come home to paint his new race car, which is a project we're working on, and I will be home soon, Owen. Thank you for your question. We have a question. It's gone. We have, says, what are the key takeaways? This is Guy Land from Appalachian Regional Commission, just an amazing leader in our region. So thank you, Guy, for the question, which is, what are the key takeaways you would offer others who are trying this sort of social enterprise work? That's a really good question. So something that we realized, Coalfield started out actually in the housing space. Larry, our board chair earlier, mentioned that he was with the Housing Authority. And we realized pretty early on that just housing alone was not going to be enough to really get at the roots of generational poverty. And that's what we're dealing with in Appalachia. So there's circumstantial poverty, which is more like someone who's had a good job, they lose that job, and they want to get back up on their feet, which is a big deal. I would never dismiss the challenges of that. But then you have generational poverty, where really several generations have layered upon the other, and the challenges and the complexities that are holding people back have just really compounded over time. And that's the kind of poverty that we're trying to reverse here in Appalachia. And so to do that, you can't be siloed. You've really got to be willing to see how one issue connects to an issue, another issue connects to another issue, and find where you can get some leverage to actually start making a difference on the overall picture and the overall issue of generational poverty. So I would say, don't lose sight of the big picture. Be willing to, it's just hard, and so be be in it for the long haul. You can't expect miracles overnight. You've got to be in it for the long haul and be committed to the trust and the relationships. You hear Coalfield folks talk about trust and relationships all the time because projects come and go, initiatives come and go, but the trust and the relationships that you build with your partners and your collaborators and your coworkers and your community, those outlive the projects, those outlive the initiatives, and that's really becomes the foundation for how you stick it out and how you don't give up and how you get slowly but surely you start to make progress and get where you want to go. And speaking of the Appalachian Regional Commission, there's Mr. Earl Gohl, former federal co-chair and a very good friend. And so where does Coalfield go in the next 10 years? That's a great question. We have just actually put out a new strategic plan, so that's where you get the detailed answer. But as we think about growth, a lot of the magic here at Coalfield has been because we have been a genuinely bottom-up grassroots organization. We've built relationships and trust in the communities, in the hills and the hollers where we work. And so we don't really aspire to become a massive organization with offices in cities all over the country. And yet I think our work is unique enough and effective enough and impactful enough that folks all over the country and actually around the world are getting interested in it. We're actually helping create a new curriculum for coal communities around the world through a partnership with the World Bank to share what we've learned here in Appalachia with coal communities in, could be Australia, could be China, could be Russia. There's extraction communities all over the world and all of them actually share a lot in common. But when we think about that, we want to share what we've learned, and we're even willing to invest in other social entrepreneurs, but we really want to lead from behind because we can't be an expert about every different community that has a need. We can't employ every unemployed person that needs a job, but we can share our unique model, and we've actually established what's called the SEED Fund, which is an acronym for Social Enterprise and Economic Diversification Fund, and we have actually started putting money into other social entrepreneurs throughout Central Appalachia, sharing our 33-6-3 model, sharing our approach to social enterprise, and it's starting to take off, but it's taking off in an organic way that can stay true to the uniqueness of each and every community. That's a good question there. We have time for probably 2 more questions through the chat function here. How would you describe, here's Chris Ura. Chris is the founder of Sustain U. How would you describe Appalachia to someone from another state or country? That's a good question. I think Appalachia we have a painful history, but a beautiful culture, and we have a lot to offer the world. I think there's been so much spotlight on coal communities really since around 2015. The coal industry found itself in a crisis, and then the 2016 election was such a surprise to so many. We've actually had a lot of national reporters coming in asking the same question: what is Appalachia? How do I understand Appalachia? And I think sometimes I get frustrated because we're viewed sort of as a victim, that this transition is happening and those poor people in Appalachia that have been left behind, and we're sort of collateral damage in this transition to a newer, cleaner economy, which that transition has to happen. But I actually think we have the skills and the capacities and the strengths and the assets here in Appalachia to be leaders of a new economy, a more just and a more sustainable economy. We love to make stuff, fix stuff, build stuff, grow stuff. We're good with our hands. We're resourceful, we're creative, and we're tough. And so building a whole new economy that's more sustainable and more just, that's not going to be easy, and that's not just going to happen, and it's certainly not just going to happen by white-collar folks that have fancy offices in big cities. It's going to take workers who can retrofit those buildings to be more energy efficient, workers who can install those solar energy systems to change how we get our energy, people to grow local food so we don't have to ship it 2,000 miles across a continent. And so I think Appalachia can actually lead the way, and I like that framing much better than, oh, those poor people who are getting left behind. A good closing question here that also sort of looks to the future. The Matewan project. We just had a big announcement, a grant from the U.S. Economic Development administration of $1.7 million for a revitalization project in the town of Matewan. Matewan's history is incredible. It's central to the history of the labor movement in this country and really in the world, and it's a dramatic history. And yet a lot of people that I meet around the country don't know it. There was a movie about it, a really high-quality movie about it in the 80s, but a lot of folks don't know the history. And so we're going to create local jobs in Mingo County. We're going to create new businesses and bring investment, but we also want to tell the history of what happened there in Matewan. One of the buildings we're revitalizing actually was the apartment unit of Sheriff Sid Hatfield, who's a key player in all of this history. And we're going to look to the future, but we're also going to preserve that history and make sure the rest of the country knows that history and knows that story. So that's our Q&A. We've had a great decade. We are jazzed for the next decade. We feel like we've built great momentum. We've earned a lot of trust, and we've built a lot of those relationships. We appreciate all of you joining us to celebrate. We appreciate you investing in us. I am going to say one more time, check out our donation page. Please do consider financially supporting Coalfield Development. Again, we promise to be good stewards, and we can't do this without money, but the money is just the start. Then we'll take that, we'll invest it, and then you'll see the kinds of transformations that you've heard about all day long.
Thank you, Brandon. We're trying to switch a few screens around here real quick. We've got to move from this live chat scenario and kind of slide that TV out of the way. You've got me back on the screen here, and while we do that, I'm going to make a shameless plug, folks. Shameless plug for the softest mask I have worn during this pandemic. And I got to tell you, you can get these. You can get them embellished, so they're like screen printed with your company logo if you want to. Just hit sustainyouclothing.com to find out more about those. Feel free to check that out. And we also noticed during the chat feature, during that segment, a few folks asked about the shirt that Sam Sarcone was wearing. So Sam is already making things cool after that performance. So this is our 10-year anniversary shirt. This is something that we were giving out as a gift to all of our employees, all of our crew members, trainees, and staff. And so it's got Coalfield's 10-year logo and emblem we came up with for this event and to celebrate the year. 10 years of rebuilding Appalachia. And in the reverse of the shirt is our newly redesigned logo from early 2019. So just kind of refreshing things along the way. So if you're interested in purchasing one of these shirts, again, check out sustainyouclothing.com. They've got a store there that they can get those sent to your home. So shameless marketing plug is over, and we've got some folks to thank. So we really appreciate each of you being here with us this afternoon. This has been a remarkable experience for all of us because it's totally new to use all this technology in a way that we can reach hundreds of people. So thank you for being here and for participating. Just a few folks to shout out by name. Right now, I'm looking at about a dozen people, or maybe a few less, but half of them are from the JJN Multimedia team. Everything that has happened to flip a switch or a picture or a video or anything you've seen today, they have made that magic happen. So we are really grateful and appreciative to the work of their team. They've been longtime partners of ours, and we can't say enough great things about them. Again, a Southern West Virginia entrepreneur dream, really, to start JJM Multimedia. So check them out if you're ever in need of some live production, right? That's a new thing maybe for you guys. But they do a ton of graphic work and web design. And then we've also got, I want to thank a friend of ours to the organization, Chris Ura, who helped lay out the program for today. So thanks, Chris, for thinking about getting us all the way back to the roots and then up to today. So we appreciate that. And local here to Westmoreland is another new group of entrepreneurs called SFP Productions. Those guys know how to party. All the lighting, maybe you saw this, there was like some smoky haze. I don't think I've ever been a part of an event where that's been the case. So those guys helped put all that on. So thanks to you all at SFP Productions. And then just individually, we got Luke Huffman, Dan Queen, Gina Milam, Sam Sarcone, Jacob Hanna, Charles Chatekwi, Kelly Crabtree, everybody who's been a part of the background of this, whether it's advertisements leading up to this event or just a ton of notifications and reminders to get on Zoom and check this out. Kelly has been letting people in and out of this meeting all day, just trying to make sure everybody's there. So thank you for that. And finally, I would like to present a gift to Brandon. So we want to thank Brandon for 10 years, and not only just for 10 years of him serving Appalachia, but also 10 years of really continuing the vision. So this is a very unique, one-of-a-kind piece. You can take it off the easel if you need to. Just hold it. And I can't quite tell, JD, if I'm on split screen still. Yeah, okay, so you can see that. So this is a unique piece from the folks at Saul's Edge. They were able to find some stained glass that matched the logo. So that's totally one of a kind, just something, a memento for you to remember 10 years of rebuilding Appalachia here with Coalfield Development. So thank you.
Thank you for that. That's really cool. Can I just say real quick what the logo means?
Absolutely,
So
yeah. Explain that.
The triangle is the sign for Delta, for the sign for change is what that represents a lot. And we have the blue sky up high, so we have big dreams. There's the big picture that we see, but a lot of our work's down in the dirt, which is the brown, so we're willing to get in the trenches, roll up our sleeves, and just go side by side with people through life. And then the red is bold action and forward action. And of course, it all forms a nice, pretty C.
Yep.
So we put a lot of thought into that logo, and this was a surprise, and it means a lot, and I'll cherish it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. We appreciate it again. So thank you all again. We've got one closing video we want to share in a moment, just again to give you guys a heads up about where we're headed with multimedia in the future. We are starting a podcast. So anywhere you get podcasts, you can check that out. We've got some episodes. The first episode is up already. We plan to do that at least once a month moving forward. So it's a great opportunity to stay connected and to stay really in that more of the brown, right? So you really know like the work that's going on. Like you can understand the dirt of the earth and what's happening and where we're headed in that blue sky as well. So Brandon, any other thoughts or anything to share?
I do have one very special announcement. So today is Coalfield Council Day. All of our employees should be online right now. If they're not, that's going to be a timesheet issue. But so it's Labor Day. We want to honor all working people, especially you, and it's our 10-year anniversary. So all of our current employees, you are a key piece of this story. So in honor of you and your hard work, we're actually going to do an extra vacation day this year for the Labor Day weekend. So instead of a 3-day weekend, you're now going to have a 4-day weekend. So you're
we got some cheers in the back. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can
so
hear
your
that.
Monday, I'm going to screw the dates up. But
Well,
you're
I got it written up here.
All right, that was
September
smart.
4th.
You're getting Friday the 4th off, and of course 5th, 6th. You already had the 7th off, but now you've got the 4th off too. Thank you for your hard work, and happy 10th anniversary to all of you.
Yeah, thank everybody for being here.
Well,
It's officially August of 2020. Coalfield Development Corporation is now 10 years old. A lot has happened over this decade, and we couldn't be more excited about the future. To celebrate, we've decided to announce the release of our new podcast, a way to give a creative voice for our crew members in their journeys, as well as our partners.
We did it to pick up the town, and it did. An old rotten building that nobody was even going to pay attention to. I mean, that was a learning point. Taught me how...
Literally with those two hands.
These two hands.
You will hear stories each month of our triumphs and struggles to rebuild the Appalachian economy from the ground up.
So we wanted Coalfield Development to be a place where West Virginia workers could come and realize their full potential.
This is a podcast about hope and volition in the coal fields. Stories of our crew members' journey to build a life of purpose.
Throughout that whole time of all the challenges, I have lots of memories, but I don't have any memories thinking about how things were going to fall through or things weren't going to work out.
To not only talk about the years that have gone by, but to prepare for and embrace the future of Appalachia, our people.
And I remember that the first week of the interviews was amazing. We brought the first crew for the orientation, but in addition to all the usual paperwork, everyone signed on to those values.
We define our core values over these past 10 years with 3 words, 3 simple definitions of the Appalachian Way. Gumption, grit, and grace. A podcast by Coalfield Development. Find us today wherever you get your podcasts.